that in our politics, we move from dynasty to unexpected political stars who emerge out there. And I think one of the things about Smriti has been she's worked her way up. That's quite interesting.
The dynasty part, or no, but I'd like to make 2 points. One, Vasundhara Raje wanted her son Dushyant Singh to get a berth in the cabinet, didn't get one. Anurag Thakur, son of Prem Singh Dhumal, wanted a berth, didn't get one. So there's a statement that Yashwant Sinha's son also has not got a berth. So it's a statement as far as dynastic politics is concerned.
Delhi's politics has been used to a certain format. You're somebody's son, you have a better chance. You're from this caste, you have a better chance. You're from a bigger state and from the appropriate caste background, you have a better chance. And Hartosh, let's draw you in on this. Even political formulations have been on the basis of this thinking, which frankly is not in sync with what young India wants out there. So this risk or this approach of Mr. Modi, can it become a blueprint for other parties?
Well, certainly. See, expectations are high. The cabinet lives up to some of the expectations that have been put on Mr. Modi and the government, which is why it is important for this cabinet to deliver, because the judgment will eventually lie in how well it does.
I agree with that. Yes,
Irani represents the bold new face of young India, and her biggest point, from what I can see, is the fact that she is non-ideological. She seems to be a pragmatic kind of person who will rise above ideology. And that's what the young people want.
I think we should go back to that debate we just left, because we were at a point when Mr. Surjewala made a point. I think we should let GVL Narasimha Rao respond to that, and then we'll see where it goes. Mr. Surjewala actually, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, he actually was in a very nuanced way critical of the centralization of portfolios. To what some people in the BJP are celebrating Mr. Narasimha Rao, Mr. Surjewala says, no, important portfolio is not being given its due importance. I mean, I'd like you to respond to that. Equally, it can be said, Antony held sole charge of defense, but he did precious little for the last 3 years of the UPA. But anyway, your response to Mr. Surjewala, and then we take it forward.
I think, as we all know, what portfolio is given to whom is the prerogative of the Prime Minister, and he, in this scenario, unlike Dr. Manmohan Singh, who had no accountability to the people of the country, Mr. Narendra Modi is directly accountable to the people of this country. He fought a presidential kind of a contest it was. The people have huge hopes from Mr. Modi. So I think it's best left to his own judgment as to who is suited to what kind of ministry, who can deliver in what kind of a portfolio. And I think I would like you to please not consider certain ministries or certain departments to be less weightier compared to the others. I think every ministry has a mandate to perform. And the kind of promises that Mr. Modi had made, the manifesto that the BJP has, I think every ministry will have to perform to its potential to be able to give an optimal performance. I think Mr. Modi is a super performer, and he knows how to get his job done. From every minister, he has the experience of both governance and politics, and therefore I don't want you to see this as a ministry formation bereft of any political idea. Mr. Modi, for all you know, has been hugely successful as a political leader, and therefore I think he has done a mix of everything.
No, Mr. Surjewala can respond to that in detail, because I noticed that it was not a sharp criticism, it was an observation that he made out there.
Yes.
So let's get Mr. Surjewala, I'm going to come back to you. We keep this discussion and debate going between you and the BJP, but I'd like to welcome Prakash Javadekar. I'd like to welcome Prakash Javadekar right now, if he can hear me. Mr. Javadekar.
Yes, sir. Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me? You can't see me.
Yeah.
You can't see me, but you can hear me. Many congratulations, Mr. Javadekar, on getting
thank you.
On your inclusion, Mr. Javadekar. Now the buzz is that you're the Information and Broadcasting Minister. What are you hearing, Mr. Minister?
And Environment and Forest.
And Environment and Forest as well.
My commitment to both the causes are important. I went in jail for 16 months to preserve press freedom.
Right.
My father was a journalist, vernacular journalist of 50 years standing.
Right.
And I have learned by heart the journalism from my childhood. And therefore, freedom of press to me is very sacrosanct. Second, more importantly, and I see various changes happening in the whole media, and I welcome many changes, and we can work it together. It's a team. Media and government can work together. Second is, environment is my passion, because environment, we have a global organization of more than 500 MPs of 80 countries. It's called GLOBE. I am the president of the Indian chapter. And I know very certain that environment, poverty is the main disaster for environment. And therefore, we have to eradicate poverty. To that end, we will have to ensure growth, and that which will be balanced, which will not destroy the environment, but which will not, environmental consideration won't become the impediment for the development. So both can be achieved, environment as well as growth.
Well, one
And
thing
that's
I
the
just
challenge.
one
And there are
thing.
many discussions now.
That's a very significant point, Mr. Prakash
Just
Javadekar.
one quick point. I just want to ask Mr. Javadekar at this stage. Mr. Javadekar, you were, what many people don't know about you is that you were one of the first spokespersons of the Bharatiya Janata Party in the television age when Vajpayee was in power.
Yes.
Right? So you have a long equation with the media.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a more straight question today, since you are the next INB minister and you're literally confirming it? So there has been an apprehension that will the Modi government be open to criticism, for example? And you know, Mr. Javadekar, that the UPA government tried to use the instruments of government to clamp down on the freedom of the media when a process of criticism started. I and all journalists today across the country want to know from you, since you're the INB minister, will you A, be open to criticism? Second, will you open up the media and allow the media to grow as an industry, both editorially and in terms of being an industry? What will your approach be, which will be different from what the UPA did?
See, I will not get into all the policy prescriptions right away, but my basic reaction is, yes, we are open to criticism, because that is the healthy democratic tradition. And I believe that criticism makes institutions perfect. But I also hope that we will work as a team, because it will be a constructive criticism to improve upon. And everybody has a right to tell the government that this is what is going wrong, you improve it. And we'll definitely be accountable and will be improving upon.
All right, now, you see, you are my man in demand right now. I know you have got limited time. For what? Do you have another 5 to 10 minutes?
Will there be no vendetta? I hope there will be no vendettas against the media.
Mr.
Javadekar.
Mr. Javadekar, Vinod Mehta. Let me moderate this. Vinod Mehta, everyone wants to ask the next INB minister a question. Vinod Mehta, editorial chairman of Outlook, is asking you a question. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that there's great apprehension that the Modi government, there will be some kind of campaign against the media, especially that part of the media which was allegedly against Narendra Modi. I hope that we can have an open relationship, and the past where we have criticized you can be seen in professional terms rather than a personal attack on Mr. Modi.
Point taken.
Personal attack on...
Let him reply.
Vinodji, first of all, I must all share my joy and your hopes also in one go. More important is, see, the press freedom is press freedom. There is no alternative to that freedom. And that needs to come. So criticism and everything is okay. Otherwise, people are the best judge. They take decisions. And therefore, as we know, if it is a constructive thing, people accept it. Otherwise people don't accept it.
Okay, Mr. Javadekar, Navika has a question, Ajay Bose has a question, Sabha has a question. So you'll have to give us time. You'll realize, Mr. Javadekar, that we are very pushy with the INB ministers. Okay, Nirja also.
My question is to the Environment Minister, Mr. Javadekar. This is Navika here. Congratulations to you for a very unconnected but a dual charge that you've got. The question is $7 billion worth of investment stuck in the pipeline. You just mentioned some time ago that fast growth and environmental clearances is something that you will put your emphasis on. Is that the reason, I mean, there has to be a significant collaboration between the Finance Ministry and the Environment Ministry, but where does that leave the environmentalists, when you get on to take these decisions?
See, I am also from the environment movement. We want to save the earth. We want to make this earth living and everything, water and forest and whatnot. So it is everything important. But while we want to keep environment alive, we want to keep people alive. And therefore growth has a place. So I have participated in various negotiations and I don't want to go into details. But I have seen and keen observer that we can arrive at a solution which fits India's needs of growth till 2040, something like that will come up.
Aarti wants, Sabha, you took a question last time. Can I go to Aarti, please, with your permission? Aarti Jairath has something to ask you. Go ahead, Aarti.
Mr. Javadekar, congratulations, first of all. And secondly, one of the hallmarks of the new Modi cabinet is the creation of super ministers, where some ministers have been given heavy-duty portfolios, 2 or 3 of them. You, for instance, you're one of the super ministers in this cabinet. How do you think that will work? I mean, you have 2 portfolios. Arun Jaitley will probably have 2 or 3 portfolios. Ravi Shankar Prasad has 2 heavy-duty portfolios. How will that work?
I think if you have a method, you can definitely work. And that should not be problem because you have able team and we will go ahead with it.
Okay. I'll allow one last question here. One second. Ajay Bose said you can ask both your questions directly. Ajay Bose and Sabha.
Firstly, congratulations. But returning to the environment, a lot of environment groups are concerned that somehow environmental concerns will be completely steamrollered in a mad rush towards development, particularly in mining, in a lot of places. Now, how are you going to cope with the concerns? How are you going to reassure the environmental groups? Do you plan to have a dialogue?
Answered that.
Do you plan to have a dialogue?
He broadly took that.
See, let me tell you, I'm not going into the specificities today.
Yeah, I think
I will have meetings with the officers. But the issue is, let me tell you, that when we are talking of development versus environment, that is not really the factual situation. And as far as these environment groups are concerned, we can make team. India fails in lobbying in world environment debate because government and NGOs work in different directions. We can work together on many common causes.
So you're going to build bridges. The one last question there.
Prakashji, Sabha here. Congratulations. And I want to say that Prakashji is the most soft-spoken and the least combative of many of the BJP spokespersons. So the fact that he's got INB is itself interesting.
Yeah.
But Prakashji, what I want to ask you is that do you think Narendra Modi has always spoken of less governance? Is there need for an INB ministry? What do you think about that? When you talk about media
He has said,
yes.
He has not said less governance. He has said maximum governance and minimum government.
Okay, so is there need for an INB ministry? That's what do you think about that?
I'll not today answer of the department unless I review the.
Okay, so Mr. Javadekar, you will support good, honest, straightforward journalism. You will be open to questions. You will not try and throttle the media industry.
Absolutely.
And big congratulations from all of us to the next INB Minister and Environment Minister. one of the longest serving spokespersons.
Arnab, gentleman minister.
A gentleman minister. Vinod Mehta doesn't like to pay compliments too often. He calls you a gentleman minister. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me. Look forward to seeing more of you. That's another interesting face out there. Prakash Javadekar. Kiran Bedi with us on the debate. Opening up the debate once again. Now, Kiran Bedi, thank you. Sorry for keeping you waiting. And I thank both you and Randeep Surjewala for your patience. Kiran Bedi. Now, Randeep, Mr. Surjewala, please don't think I'm only taking the critics and not letting you have your say. But Kiran Bedi, Randeep Surjewala said here he's not happy with the over-centralization of ministries. He would have liked to see separate ministers look, for example, at defense and finance. He's not happy with that. As someone who's been a bureaucrat, do you think that's a good or bad idea? I want your response to Mr. Surjewala, please. Go ahead.
It's a very interesting question you asked me. You asked me in the afternoon. I tweeted, I'm witness to departments being created, ministries being opened, just to promote IAS officers and bureaucrats. I tell you that. I'm saying it with a sense of absolute responsibility. I've seen PSUs being opened, ministries being carved out only because to clear stagnation. And ministries and promotions. I can tell you that. That is not going to happen now. I think what is happening is you see a very close trend towards effective coordination. What was, I believe, lacking in the past government. And therefore, when you have effective coordination and functioning secretariats, you do not need more ministries and PSUs and departments. I think we should give it a time. What was needed in this country was effective coordination, which is coming by this. So therefore, I would not be scared that if 2-3 departments have been missed. On the contrary, it's seamless. Then transportation is seamless. I would like to see some more. I would like to see some more in agriculture, if you ask me, or in water and environment.
Some more centralization,
because agriculture and food. Sorry?
Some more centralization, you mean? You would like to see some more centralization of portfolios?
I would say more clubbing, not centralization. There is no word centralization.
Clubbing.
I would say clubbing. Clubbing to make it seamless. Transport is seamless. So if you're looking at seamless work, and with an effective leader like Mr. Narendra Modi, and with secretariats working, and with the secretaries taking responsibilities for implementation, I think you will run much faster.
Mr. Surjewala, does that reassure you? You've heard her, you've heard Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, and you also heard the others. Are you reassured now with the way they are looking at things? This could be a new start.
Well, let me begin by congratulating Kiranji. Now BJP is in power. And criticism of the Congress that you are doing today may be justified, but I think we need to move on from today onwards towards the consolidation work that the country has been promised, and Congress will provide its constructive support. Having said that, I was only pointing out that as a citizen of this country, over-centralization of portfolios in one individual, something that Mr. Arnab Goswami pointed out just now, centralization and clubbing of portfolios, that they become so top-heavy that the entire work of governance remains in the hand of the few, while the distribution of power or utilization of talent sometimes also does suffer. But I said maybe Prime Minister would correct it in his next rejig of his cabinet. That's the short point
why would you be? You know, it's going, Nehru had 15 ministers.
From being a hawk,
Nehru also ran the country. Nehru had 15 ministers. You know, and in 1957, the Council of Ministers had 12 cabinet ministers, 14 ministers of state and 12 deputy ministers. That's 26 plus 12, 38.
I completely agree, Arnab, but we don't live in those times now. We live in 2014.
But it's a different approach. Mr. Rao wants a rebut very quickly to that.
It's the economy of the world.
It's a difference of approach. It's a difference of approach. Kiran Bedi raises her hand. Ms. Kiran Bedi, I'll come to you, but after Mr. Rao, please. Yeah.